Welcome to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm the head coach, Josh Robinson, and this is our offensive coordinator, Chad Fisher. This past Friday, we took on the Coahulla Creek Colts in the beginning of the 2019 season, and thankfully, football season's finally arrived. Coach
Yeah,
Fisher?
absolutely. It's been a long several months without playing. We've had our off-season workouts. We've had spring practice, summer workouts. Definitely a great group of young men to be around, great group of coaches to work with, and like I said, a great group of kids to coach. So anxious to get back out there and really crank it up and get going.
That's one of the exciting parts is, we worked out, we got stronger, those kind of things. And, of course, those are important. But what was really nice is the fact that our kids seem to be really together. In the long run, I've got to believe that'll pay off its benefits.
Yes.
This past Friday against Coahulla Creek, despite getting down 7-0 and committing 9 penalties in the first 14 minutes, we ended up really pulling away with the game and controlling the game. With a 28-7 win, our defense played really well. But our offense, we got a lot of new guys over there, and it's part of it, and we understand. And there's going to be a time or two this year that the defense is not going to perform wonderfully, and the offense is going to have to pick us up. And hopefully, in the meantime, our defense can play and buy those guys on offense some time who we feel really good about, but at the same time, experience is worth $1 million, and these guys are getting that as we go with their first experience against Coahulla Creek this past Friday.
Sure, anytime, we've got 8 brand new starters on offense, and, I think we knew going in that we were going to have some struggles early on until we get our feet set and kind of figure it out as we go with the kids. But I think the efforts there, the intensities there, the wanting to get better, wanting to learn, has been there. So it's just a day-by-day process. We get better each week, and we just keep improving. But regardless of all that, anytime we're able to start off and 1-0, that's always a great thing.
Winning's definitely better than losing, Coach Fisher. We ended up with 399 yards of offense, really shot ourselves in the foot and got behind the chains, and it makes everything more difficult. But Owen Brooker, our incoming freshman, had a solid first night, not a great one. But at the same time, for everyone, including the other team, the field conditions were not great, and it was tough on quarterbacks and receivers alike to throw and catch the ball. But Owen finished the night with 11 completions for 113 yards and a touchdown.
Yes, absolutely. And the elements out there made it very hard to do things at times. The field ended up looking like a quagmire by the end of the game. So, it was just a tough situation. But Owen did perform very well. Our offense, when we were able to get going, we did a lot of good things.
Chase Gentry came on as a junior, and really his first extended and important part of the Bruin offense. He came away with 12 rushes for 149 yards and 1 touchdown, and the touchdown run was 69 yards, Coach Fisher.
Yeah, and Gavin Ellis was another running back that played well. He had 9 rushes, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Very pleased with how those guys played. Bryce Mantooth was another running back that got a touchdown for us, had 5 carries for 16 yards. Matthew Redmond, 2 rushes for 13 yards. Matthew's done a lot of things for us and will continue to do that. And then Owen had 8 rushes for 9 yards tonight.
And he would have had more yards, but a couple of times he got sacks, and that hurts. But overall, our group is running back,
yes.
and that's kind of what you're going to see. We've got Chase Gentry is really our speed guy. Gavin Ellis is kind of the middle guy, and then Bryce Mantooth kind of does it all. You're going to see those guys, and Bryce plays a little defense and has done a good job for us, and we mixed him in. Overall, a good night for those guys, a solid night.
Yeah,
so
big-time rushing yards tonight.
That's exactly right. Really close to 250, I believe,
yes.
once it was all said and done. Receiving-wise, we had Cade Fisher with 3 catches for 59 yards, Matthew Redmond with 5 catches for 49 yards, a touchdown, and he also was 1-for-1 passing with 38 yards, and then his rushing yards we just talked about. Preston Neely, 1 catch for 10 yards, and Ray Morrison, 3 catches for 7 yards. Overall, we spread the ball around. We've got several names up there, but honestly, on a Friday with normal conditions, we're probably going to plan on mixing up a little bit more if the other team dictates that that's what they want to give up. And we're going to expect a lot out of our receivers, and Owen's going to become more efficient. Our receivers are going to become more sure-handed, but overall, a solid night by those
right.
guys.
And if you look at the names that we've all discussed, very few of them had significant playing time last year at the varsity level. Now they played, but they didn't have a lot of playing time. And so, again, anytime you play several new guys out there at the varsity level, you're going to experience some highs and lows at times as we continue to sort these things out with those guys. But I thought our receiving core did some good things, especially with the elements tonight, with the field being wet, balls being wet and muddy and things like that. But they did a good job blocking downfield, and were able to help create seams for our running game. So it's an ongoing process with those young men. They continue to work. They continue to have a great attitude out there at practice, and had a great attitude during the game. So, we just got to go out and get better and keep working, and find that next guy that can go get it. And right now we've got a good group that's really doing some good things.
At this time, let's take a look at the first half highlights. Here we started off. They received the ball, and we're having a little bit of trouble getting our linebackers to fit in the right gap. We overran things. We're a little more experienced, so we're seeing stuff. Good job of being physical by Colby Ramsey and Bailey McQuaig, and Logan Akins in on the tackle, and we've got our defensive line who did an effective job all night. They had trouble handling the ball, and we come back on offense.
Yeah, there's a little swing pass to Matthew out of the backfield. Obviously we're trying to get the ball down the field quickly, and we were doing some zone action, some RPO looks at the very beginning. Gavin Ellis had a really good night tonight, ran the ball really hard, very powerful up there. Very exciting run for him.
We ended up punting with a short punt there. Bailey McQuaig comes in, and Jeb Brooker in on the tackle. They throw it short to one of their better players, and our safeties come up. Keith McQuaig on his first varsity tackle there, I believe. Good fit by Jake Fawcett, who was really downhill for us and is getting better as a football player and earning some playing time. There, Jordan McCamish and Colby Ramsey in on a tackle, end up making them punt and come back on offense.
Right, there's Chase right there. We got to work down the block just a little bit, but Chase had a really good night running the football for us.
We ended up stalling out, coming back in on offense here, or defense rather, with several guys in on the tackle. They ended up scoring on that possession. Come back, they're back on offense here, and we're doing a better job of covering. Fitting on we've got to be a little more physical on the perimeter. Good tackle by Chase, but at the same time it was a horse collar, so it ended up being one of those penalties. Jordan McCamish in his first start really getting after it out there. Guys being physical, we end up hitting them, making them fumble, and Bailey McQuaig comes up with the ball.
There's a nice job right here running a little gel screen to Preston, and did a really good job getting downfield. Had a good night for us blocking and receiving.
End up punting the ball away. We have them tackled. Good job by Colby Ramsey coming in and being physical. We got to fit a little quicker there, but Logan Akins in on a big tackle. Play action pass by Coahulla Creek, and right there we've got Bailey McQuaig in the coverage with Jordan McCamish waiting. They end up punting away and getting a fairly good punt off that Matthew ends up returning for us and gets that 7 to 10 yards, which is a really big deal.
Right, here's a nice little play. This was a big third down throw and catch right here. Nice job catching the ball right there on the line. Gavin with a big time run was able to get some holes created up front. We had to settle down a little bit after the first quarter. A little nerves, were anxious. Nice job Owen scrambling, finding Matthew to keep the drive alive. There's Gavin again, had a big hole to get up there. Like to see him get those knees up to break that tackle to get in the end zone. But nice job right there, and then that way to punch it in. Nice block on the perimeter right there.
We end up going for 2. We had it caught in the end zone, ended up dropping it. Here, Dakota Hickman, one of our returning defensive linemen, with the first hit, and then we've got a slew of Bruins in on it. We get upfield just a hair on our D-line there, but we get tackled here as our defensive end breaks free, Chase Humble, but we end up playing the screen, making Coahulla Creek punt it away to us, and it goes to, I believe, Matthew Redmond on the 12-yard line.
Yes. There's a little spot route, little RPO. We're either going to run it or throw it and find Matthew with the hole. Here's a little quick screen that we run out there. Nice job on the catch. Nice job blocking. Trying to get out of bounds right there before the end, trying to score quick because we've got a limited time, and then we hand it off to Chase, and Chase shows that he's got a little burst of speed and runs for 69 yards for a touchdown.
It was, you know, a really weird situation, time being kept on the field because our scoreboard got struck by lightning here on the naked boot is Owen Brooker rolling out for 2. We end up coming back on defense, and we lost really 3 of those opportunities where we should have came up with a ball, maybe not all of them, but at least a couple. But our guys on defense are playing really hard. You can see tough field conditions on both teams. We end up getting some penetration there. Logan Akins and Jeff Brooker in on the tackle. They end up getting a good punt off, and here we have Cooper Pardee, who came out for the first time since middle school, is our team's point guard in basketball, getting a return here.
This is a nice job. We've got about a minute to go, so we open up with a reverse pass. Nice throw, nice catch right there. Nice job getting the ball downfield, putting us in scoring position right there before the end of the half. This is a play we've worked all week. It's always nice to be able to hit it 2 times in a row. And Matthew Redmond, courtesy of Owen Brooker, for his first high school touchdown pass.
They end up taking a knee. We go in at halftime with the Bruins 21, Coahulla Creek 7. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson. This is Chad Fisher. We've already mentioned a few times that our defense played well. We kind of started slow. Linebackers not really fitting as fast, but we really took over, I believe, in the physical aspect. Our D-line played well. Our linebackers improved as the day went on. I really felt like we were a very physical football team, and it kind of all starts up front for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Zach Koslow was one of the first ones, had a great ball game tonight. 13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup, a forced fumble. Was really active on every play and was involved in pretty much everything that was going on. So, attribute a lot of that to his off-season work ethic and how much stronger he got and how much bigger he got trying to prevent those injuries and trying to prevent being doubled and triple team at times, and really did a lot of good things tonight.
Moving from one year to the next, he was tremendously better than when he played against Coahulla Creek last year.
Yes.
Another one of our guys, Dakota Hickman, had 8 tackles and a tackle for a loss. Really became more accountable, holding other people accountable. Just getting stronger and working and committing to the football program, so he had a good night.
Yeah, another one who's been injured and hasn't seen a lot of action because of his injury, just been banged up. We've tried to keep him healthy as best we can, is Chase Humble. 9 tackles tonight, had a couple of pass breakup, QB pressures. This is a kid that's going to be counted on to do a lot of things for us once he gets 100% healthy. He's probably playing at about 85% right now.
Yes, he's a very good player for us. We've held him out a lot, hadn't practiced much, and he's not a kid that likes that. Wouldn't have had a sack tonight if he hadn't got tackled as he ran by the offensive tackle. Another guy for us is Jeb Brooker, who also starts at right tackle. He ended up with 4 tackles and a tackle for a loss in only 17 plays, so he's definitely going to contribute there and do a good job for us. Our linebacker crew started out a little slow, but carried on and got better as the day went.
Yeah, absolutely. As the game started going on, they started being more active. They started coming downhill a little bit better. Bailey McQuaid was one, 7 tackles, had a forced fumble. He also had a fumble recovery, which was big. And this is an example of another young man who's had a really good offseason. He's really developed in the weight room. He's gained probably 10, 15 more pounds of muscle, and I think that showed tonight, and we're anxious to see what he can do. Logan Akins is another one who had a really good night at times. I think he struggled a little bit in the mud, moving around at times, like much of the kids did. But Logan had 3 tackles and had 1 tackle for loss.
You know, Logan's a guy that we want to be more involved in more tackles. Played a little slow for too long. When he turns it loose, and he will, you know, he'll see the film and he'll see the things that he needs to correct. He'll be one of our leading tacklers by the time the year's all said and done. A guy that was starting his first game for us, Jordan McCamish, had 5 tackles, 1 forced fumble, really flying around all over the field. Got kind of upset at the end because the kid was kind of shoving his head. But he's got to learn to control that and be able to play. But really turned it loose and played a solid game.
Yeah, and Colby Ramsey is another kid that has had a really good spring, had a really good summer, had 3 tackles tonight, 1 tackle for loss. Very active. He had to do some things tonight, lined up against a tight end that he hasn't been used to much in the summer or much in spring with our offense and things like that. But he had a really good night. Damian Banta was another one that had a good night. Was in there, had a tackle, had a fumble recovery, so very pleased with how Damon played.
Both those guys are getting more physical, especially Colby being a senior, has really accepted that role. One of the reasons we talked to him last year about how to get more playing time, maintain starter snaps, all that kind of stuff, and he's really improved, especially over the last couple of weeks. We put some pressure on him, and we really like his response. Damon Bant is a guy who's going to provide us depth and play everywhere. He even plays offensive line.
Yeah.
So,
and Bant is just coming back from an injury where he's missed pretty much all summer.
He is. It was a tough summer for him, not getting to participate, but he was there working out what he could, and you know, it was good. And then we have Bryce Mantooth, who's also a running back. You're going to kind of see him. He's going to punt at times this year for us. He's going to play linebacker. He's going to run the ball. He's going to contribute in all phases of our game, and we're really proud to have him.
And Jared Fawcett's another one who really stepped his game up tonight. I thought he did some good things. I thought he had a good week of practice. He had 3 tackles, had 2 tackles for loss, but Fawcett's a young man who kind of took the next step this week and raised his level of play, which was really a good sign.
You know, Jake, we really sat there and told him we expect this out of you, and we want you to get better here to improve your snaps because it's going to make us better. And he really went downhill. We were really pleased. Bryson Cox, a senior, came in with 1 tackle and a quarterback pressure and played well at the end of the game. And our DBs didn't have much action. Wasn't a lot going on back there, but a couple of guys. Hayden Pack had 2 tackles. Jacob Sanders had 2 tackles and 4 assisted tackles, so 6 total. And then he recovered a fumble as well. That's 2 seniors for us working and getting better. And really, you know, we need to focus on our discipline for all of them with our eyes and tight ends versus non-tight ends, those kind of things. But really pleased with those guys as well as our other secondary players.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith McQuaig had first varsity start.
Absolutely.
Sophomore starting in the secondary and playing probably one of the tougher positions, playing at safety, because he's got to do a lot of things. He's got to be there for run support, and he's also got to be in coverage. And really did a lot of good stuff. Being a sophomore, had 2 tackles tonight. Matthew Redmond, you hear Matthew's name a lot. Had 1 tackle. Didn't have a lot of action on defense. Didn't have a lot of action towards his way, but he attributed in other things. And then Cooper Pardee finished up, had 1 tackle tonight, played well, did what he was supposed to do, played assignment football. Biggest thing he did is he had a great punt return there to set up that last touchdown.
Absolutely. You know, we're glad to have him out and all our secondary guys. And Ryan Baker's a good addition for us. Didn't really accumulate any stats, but is a good player. He's also going to play in the secondary for us. At this time, let's take a look at our second half highlights.
So here we are back at the start of the second half with opening drive. We do a really good job of getting the ball downfield. Chase Gentry right there on a nice little run. We get in. We do like I said. We move the ball. We run the football. We're taking up some time. We end up taking 6 minutes off the clock on this first drive. It was Gavin running Chase 2 previous times. Offensive line starting to create holes We run a little quick screen. Ray makes a nice little play right there. We're just trying to get 3 or 4 yards at a pop just to keep it going. Then our little spot route up the middle to Matthew. So Owen did a really good job with that play. We give it to Chase, and he's going to bend it back and has a 20-plus yard run right there. So really proud of the way he played tonight. We get it inside here, and we kind of miss right here. Owen does a great job of scrambling. You know, as he gets older and as he keeps practicing, he's going to learn to take that outside and try to hit it right there at the corner. And, you know, we fizzle out right there, and those are things that we've got to work on this week, and we'll get better at that.
You know, unfortunately, we made a few mistakes and weren't able to score on that drive. But our defensive guys were flying around. I felt like they were really physical, really limited Coahulla Creek after the first quarter, especially in the second half. Only picking up a couple of first downs, ending up getting a good field position with our offense taking over the 37. I believe we end up throwing an interception there. Here they're throwing a swing pass, and our guys are flying to the football. Again, Jordan McCamish, one of our wrestlers and a good football player for us. Getting in on a couple of straight tackles there. Jeb Brooker, Chase Humble, Dakota Hickman, Adam Long, and Zach Coslow doing a good job up front for us. Damon Banta really got some time in the second half, and we're glad that we were able to get him that. He's going to be a good player for us there. Matthew makes an uncharacteristic mistake, lets the ball kind of bounce inside. They end up with tremendous field position, but a great tackle by Dakota Hickman to make that solo tackle for a defensive lineman. End up getting them quick and out here with some really physical. Again, Jake Fawcett was really downhill. We're really proud of his advancement. Going into the fourth quarter, Jeb Brooker crossing face on the tackle. Kobe Ramsey creating some penetration. They do a really, really good job of coffin kick. You can't get much better than that. But Matthew's able to pick it up, make a few guys miss, and give us just enough room to get out of there and feel comfortable to hand him the ball.
Yeah, Matthew really had a good night on offense right here with a little end around, getting it out of the danger zone, picking up a big first down for us.
Awesome job by Matthew really fielding that punt. Their young man ends up touching the ball, and Jacob Sanders recovers it. We really stall out here on offense, and there's Matthew with another very good kick that rolls inside of Coahulla Creek's 7-yard line. On the first play, they try to run the bubble, and Hayden Pack really on what was his few times to get in on action does a great job of being physical. Here they're trying to run up the middle. Our guys are getting penetration and being really aggressive. We see Cooper Pardee out here at corner, again, going to really provide us some minutes as he continues to grow and learn what's going on. Force him into a punt, and here's Cooper. I just talked about him. He's a really athletic kid, looks good in pads, is long-armed, athletic, and returns the ball all the way down to the 7-yard line. Really got to hang on to it, but good job for us.
Yeah, there's a nice little quick screen that we run. We'll pop it out there to Ray. Bryce Mantooth on the run right there. Defense really did a great job tonight for us and kept us in the game. We fizzled out on several drives and never could really get some things going at times. And hats off to the way the defense played tonight. They did an excellent job of just keeping us in the game and really playing their butts off.
Well, that's part of it. As it grows, our offense will be better. Kobe Ramsey doing a good job, and Hayden Pack. We end up getting a tackle there, and on fourth down we have
another
the ball rolling around, and really we should come up with it. But we don't. We end up getting the ball back on offense, fizzle out, punt the ball inside. Good tackle on a big back by our corner out there. I believe it was Hayden Pack, but I can't swear to it. Jersey's really muddy at this point. Bryson Cox with some good pressure. Our guys are right there in coverage. We like to be a little bit tighter, but our guys are doing what they're supposed to, being aggressive. They end up fumbling, and we come up with one with Damon Banta on the recovered fumble.
Yeah, there's Adrian Reyes on the give, and that's kind of how the game ended up.
At this time, let's take a look at our corporate sponsors. Welcome back to the Bruin Football Show. A lot of important things going on around here, a lot of sports underway. Our cross-country team, Coach Richard's working with those guys, getting them better. Our volleyball team was undefeated for a long time, went down and played some really stiff competition in a big tournament, which will help prepare them for the region and the state when they play there. Ended up dropping a match, I believe, but at the same time has played really well and started off great. And congratulations to Coach Eichert and those individuals. Our softball team is undefeated. Coach Middleton doing a great job with Coach Dunn and those guys. Going out there with those ladies and for them to be undefeated, that's not easy. That's a difficult task no matter what. They're performing, they're getting timely hits, good pitching, solid defense, and in baseball or softball you're able to win a lot of games with that recipe. This coming week, as far as football is concerned, we will be taking on the Dalton Catamounts at Harmon Field in the city of Dalton. Definitely a challenging task. That is always a very fun game, and I hope everyone comes out and watches. We're going to be trying to improve and prepare ourselves for region play. And at the same time, I'm sure Dalton is doing the same thing because they start earlier than us, with it coming a couple of weeks later. Dalton has a very good football team, very big up front on offense, and have probably the best running back on our schedule. And we have several good ones. Ridgeland has a couple of good running backs and other people, but the Dalton running back is a very, very good player that we're going to have to really rally and tackle, and then they have capable quarterbacks, receivers. So offensively, they are very solid. Coach Fisher, let's talk about their defense for a second.
Yeah, they run with a four-man front. They're going to be physical. They're going to be fast. They're going to be coached extremely well. Last year we ran into some things where they put us in a couple of binds, and we were able to do some stuff to overcome those things that they set us up in, where we threw the football, ran the ball a little bit. But we're going to face a defense that's going to be coached very well. They're going to play assignment football. They're going to be in the right spot. They're going to know what to do. They're going to have three-man look in the secondary to a four-man look. They're going to play a little man. They're going to show us a little cover two look. So, our job offensively is obviously to get better this week and eliminate the mistakes that we made tonight. But then it's also to go out there and be able to move the ball and put some points on the board and put ourselves in position to come out of there with success. But, we can't say it enough. We're all going to play a good football team, but that's part of it. It's an exciting time to go over there and play. It's going to be a packed house. It's going to be an exciting week. You get to play your crosstown city rival, and Coach Land and that staff's going to have those guys coached up. They're going to be coached extremely well, and they're going to be excited to play us.
I really look forward to this game. It's a great atmosphere. It's really a lot about what high school football is supposed to be about. And at the same time, it's going to help prepare us for the season. Again, these non-region games in the big scheme of things don't really mean a whole lot. You obviously want to win them, but you're really just building, trying to get to those games. So in about 4 or 5 weeks, when we open with Ridgeland on region play, we'll have a chance.
Absolutely.
We hope to see everyone out there. Until next week, this is Josh Robinson and Chad Fisher.